you need to belong to some kind of men's group, some type of fraternal organization to talk about that kind of stuff. It's good to have buddies to drink a beer with on occasion and watch the football playoffs or whatever, but can you turn to your friend Bob and say, I'm having trouble in my marriage, man. This is what I'm going through. For a lot of us, no. Your friend Bob is just like, I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't talk about that.
Meet Ralph Brewer, the founder of Help for Men, who turned a painful divorce into a global brotherhood, building a mission-driven platform that supports thousands of men worldwide.
Surround yourself with guys that are like-minded, that are there for the sole purpose of talking about that uncomfortable stuff. Don't be afraid to raise your hand and say help.
What's up, everybody? This is Ryan Venner, back with another edition of the Scaling Up Success Podcast. Today, we are brought to you by Synergist. It's your go-to scalable operations company and helps you grow exponentially faster at a fraction of the cost. Go check out synergist.com for more information. Today, I'm super excited because we have the leader of Help for Men, Mr. Ralph Brewer. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well, Ryan. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you on. I love what you got going on, man, with all types of different things associated with being able to help our fellow brothers. Shall we just jump into it a little bit? What inspired you into what you're doing now with it?
Well, like with a lot of guys, the origin story started from like a face down in the gutter kind of moment. You know, a lot of us guys don't kind of wake up to things and get going until we hit rock bottom, so to speak. And my rock bottom was going through a nasty divorce and becoming a single father to 3 little kids about 13, 14 years ago now. And then I started a blog and writing on my thoughts on the matter and what I was going through as a dad starting over. And I still have the social media handle of Dad Starting Over, and it's very successful. I have, 6-figure followers on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and all over the place. And that led me to writing books. And one of those books really took off, and it was called The Dead Bedroom Fix. It's all about sex and marriage. As you know, sex sells, so that's a really hot topic. That got a lot of eyeballs on my material, allowed me to start a men's group we call the Brotherhood. Help for Men is a larger organization, and you guys can learn more at helpformen.com.
Awesome, man. So there's so many pieces to this. I know we've had discussions and conversations, and you have like different online men's groups, you get togethers, you have conferences. Tell me more about everything that, kind of encompasses what you got going on, man.
Well, the private community that we have, the behind a membership wall, if you so to speak, is called the Brotherhood, the Help for Men Brotherhood. You can learn more at helpformen.com/join if you want to go right to the join page. Once you're in there, we have private membership forums that nobody else in the world other than members can see. It's very, very active, 24/7, guys from around the world. And we utilize a private Facebook group as well as a Discord server. So if you like, we have guys that are often in both. Some guys just like the Facebook because they're on there anyway. Some of the guys are more video game nerd types. They love the Discord thing, so they're comfortable in that. And then we also have anywhere from right now about 5 to 6 times a week, we have 1 hour plus Zoom meetings. So 5 or 6 of those meetings every single week. And then we record those meetings, and then we provide an archive, access to the archive. They can actually subscribe to it like it's a podcast on their phone, or they can use an embedded web player and play the archive of over 1,000 hours of meetings that we have recorded. So it's like a podcast that we keep adding to on a daily basis. In addition to that, they get access to all my books. So they get an ebook version in PDF format, or they can listen to the audiobook on their phone. In addition to that, we get together in person in the U.S. for an annual conference. We hope to make that a more frequent thing than once a year in the U.S. as well as in Australia. Our guys in Australia get together too. What else do we do? One-on-one coaching within the group, courses, all kinds of cool stuff.
So, obviously this didn't happen overnight, and it, not everything is sunshine and rainbows when you're building something so massive of what you built out. But how did you get from starting where you're like, man, I got 3 kids and I just want to share my piece to you have multiple books, you have, how did you build this whole thing out, man? It's really cool.
Good question. So it started with, if there's a secret to my success, if you will, it was listening to people who said, have you ever thought about doing fill in the blank? And then I was like, oh, no, I haven't. And then I would act on it. And I got to tell you, not every time did it succeed, but at least it was a low barrier to entry, low cost thing I could do. And I was really hungering for something to do, some kind of mission, something to keep me busy, something to light a fire under my butt, because here I was, this depressed, freshly divorced guy, And when somebody said, I like your blog and I like when you talk about fill in the blank, you should write a book on it. And I was like, oh, cool. Yes, let me jump on it. And I got to tell you, there was some luck involved here because it just so happens that the first book I wrote reached a few people who said this is really great. As most books go, most people don't read them. Most authors out there don't sell anything. But one guy in particular, one of the few who read the book, said, you have something here. I think it's really good. It's a shame more people don't know about it. Have you tried like Facebook marketing or something to sell your book more? Like you should put it up like as a digital download on your website, put like PayPal behind it or something. I'll help you with all that. Like here's like real easy tools you can use to do all that. And he just pointed me in the right direction. And he's like, just spend some money on Facebook ads or something and direct people to that. I didn't know anything about any of this. So I did. And I often tell the story of I believe it was $25 down as a Facebook ad expense. You know, you can say, I'm only going to spend this much. And I was like, one day,
Yeah.
25 bucks, let's see what happens. And it was the PDFs and the PayPal and all that stuff. And I put it up and I woke up the next morning and I had $700 in my PayPal account from one $25
Nice.
investment. And I was like, I'm onto something here. This is cool. So that was a return on my investment that was really great. I've been chasing that dragon ever since. It's been up and down, up and down. But that at least showed me that there's something here. And then when word got out, and then Amazon reviews started, I put it up on Amazon. I created my own audio version. I narrated it myself, and I put it up on Audible. Did all this myself. And then more and more people, and then thousands started buying this, and then tens of thousands, to the point where I needed 3 years goes by, and I wrote a second edition of that book. The Dead Bedroom Fix is the name of the book, by the way. And then a third edition just came out last year. And I think it's hard to tell because it's on all the retailers. It's available. You can get it like in libraries and everything else. So if I was to total them all up, some I make like nothing, some I make $9 or whatever. It's about 300,000 plus copies have been sold of that book.
That's
So
awesome, man.
I got lucky. I did really well with that. So that got a lot of eyeballs on my stuff to the point where I wrote another book that did not nearly as well, but it got some attention. It was called Divorce Panic. And then I wrote another book called Red Flags. And then I wrote another book called Real Talk, No Bullshit Life Advice for Young Men. And then my fifth book just came out a couple of months ago called Rebuild, The Complete Guide to Starting Over as a Man. It's kind of an amalgamation of all the stuff I've learned over the years. So I went online and I found a consultant and I said, I need help with all this. I don't know how to manage all this. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants. And he's like, well, the fact that you have no idea what you're doing is good because you have success and you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, you're making all kinds of mistakes here with the everything. So his name was Tony and he helped me out. And he came up with the idea of, this book sales thing ain't going to last forever. And it's going to be real, you're going to have real down times and everything else. You
Right.
can't live off this. You need something that brings him some kind of regular recurring monthly income, like a members group or something. We need to come up with something that brings people in and keeps them in as a member. What can we offer them? And we came up with the idea of, well, all my books is a no-brainer. Here you go. Here's all the ebooks and give them a way to listen to the audio. And then let's give them a forum where they can talk and open up with other men. And Zoom meetings, I can host some Zoom meetings myself where we can talk face to face, so to speak, and give them discounts on other stuff like coaching one-on-one with me that it costs this much to the general public, like half off for members. And so we went with that and success. And it started building and building and building. And we've been doing that for a while now. And then I hired people internally, like Coach Jason. You're awesome. You've been with our group for a few years now. You're like the number one dude in our meetings who attends the meetings. You're a former military guys, got people look up to you. Maybe you want to do the coaching thing too. So I brought him in and he took off. And then we did the same with Austin and then with Scott and then with Gustavo and then with Vance, who's our fitness dude and so on and so. Now Marty here recently. So we've been really blessed. We just basically promote from within, if you will, guys that kind of know the system. They know our language. They know what we're looking for, what we're not looking for. And it's done very, very well.
That is unbelievable, man. Very cool.
Thank you.
So, like, absolutely. What are you most proud about this whole thing? I mean, you're helping so many men recover, man.
That's it, man. It's helping guys. It's so easy in my world. It would be easier, so to speak, if I were selling some kind of widget or something, that I just need to sell so many units and get them off the shelf. But I'm selling like help and hope to guys. So I can't take my eyes off that prize of the end goal is just helping dudes. All of this, all these books and the audio and the meetings and everything is for the purpose of getting guys to connect with other dudes, and get the help that they need. So we don't want to lose sight of that. So I always want to kind of improve to create a system that allows them to do that better. So I'm always asking guys, we always have to be on alert when guys say, I clicked on this and it's not working. I didn't get my file right. And so it's like this whole chain of events that we have to keep on top of. It's pretty complicated. And we have one big system called Entreport that we use for managing a lot of this. And we utilize other system for managing like the private podcast episodes and another thing for this. And we use Zapier for doing all kinds of stuff and all these things that all work in concert together. And when one little link breaks, the whole thing kind of breaks down. So it's tough to keep that all managed. Tony does all of that. So it's not been easy. There's been a lot of thousands spent on stuff that I look back on and go, we shouldn't even spent one penny on that, but live and learn. It is what it is.
Right.
And we're kind of ramping things up this year. We increased the cost of the membership. We're actually test driving a few different price points to see how people are responding to it when they go to the landing page. What is the turnaround, rate for people that are signing up versus not? And we're learning some things already, only just a few weeks into this. And we're ramping up special guests in our meetings, inviting some well-known people into the meeting, see if we can get people like Dr. Robert Glover, he's big in our world, to join in on some meetings, and some psychologists and therapists and the like, just to bump up what we're offering to guys to get them help. Not necessarily, we don't, I could go down the road of need more members, market more, spend more on ads and so forth. But that's important to get more people in the door, so to speak, feed that funnel, if you will, of leads coming in to eventually become members. Buy books is typically where they start. But at the same time, we can't take our eye off the prize, which is just helping dudes.
Yeah. Yeah. So have you seen like maybe like a shift in the way that men are being like either not portrayed, or like that there's different ways that society is handling like how men are able to communicate with each other anymore?
Mm.
Because like I feel like there's such a difference than like 20 years ago.
In what way? In what way do you see the shift?
Like I feel like it's much more accepted to be able to have conversations for men
Mm.
about like mental health, mental wellness,
I
about
agree.
like this.
Yeah.
I that I just wanted to know, inside of your group, are you seeing that change and evolve over the last few years as well?
Yeah, I would say men are much more, they're still, I was going to get on the road of men are much more apt to do therapy, that's for sure. Therapy is kind of, it used to be kind of a, we don't talk about thing. Now everybody has a therapist that they go to. I'm going to see my therapist on Friday, and men are coming around to that. But still, men struggle with the idea of, I don't feel, quote, safe to open up to my wife, for example, my girlfriend or whatever, because I've done that in the past and I see that doesn't go over too well. So because of that, I feel very guarded and very stuck in here, and that's not good. And then eventually it erupts, and they got to let it out somehow, and they get in a big fight, and they become passive aggressive and sarcastic and all kinds of not so good things. So thankfully, word's getting out like you need to belong to some kind of men's group, some type of fraternal organization to talk about that kind of stuff. It's good to have buddies to drink a beer with on occasion and watch the football playoffs or whatever. That's good, but can you turn to your friend Bob and say, I'm having trouble in my marriage, man, and this is what I'm going through. For a lot of us, no. Your friend Bob is just like, what the hell, dude? No, man. I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't talk about that.
Right,
So to
right.
surround yourself with guys that are like-minded, that are there for the sole purpose of talking about that uncomfortable stuff. Sex and marriage. I just got divorced. I'm having trouble finding a girlfriend. I never seem to have a girlfriend. I feel very uncomfortable in social situations. I'm very anxious. I got the erectile dysfunction. I got, all those things that no one likes to talk
Sure.
about. To have a group of hundreds of men who are there solely for the purpose of that, that's a big weight off of guys' shoulders. Like, oh, thank goodness. And you know what's so
Absolutely.
funny? These are issues that we're sitting here nodding, going, yep, that's common. Yep, that's common. I can't tell how many guys say, I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one whose wife wouldn't touch me for the last 2 years. I thought I was the only one
Well,
going through it. It's like, dude, no, there's millions of guys going through this.
one thing that I found, and sometimes you just find it when maybe even if you're just scrolling social media, but one thing that I found that was really like in my own, you know, in the past was like if I did open up to that person I was with,
Mm,
it felt like there was a change in respect level.
could
Or if
be.
I showed emotions, or, you know, if I shed tears in front of them, then it was like the respect level was gone, and that like they would say, yes, I want you to be open with me, and it completely changed the dynamic when I did.
Is that person a female that you're talking about?
Yes, female, yes.
Well, there is something to that. I mean, as much as a lot of ladies like to say, no, we love it when our man open up to us and we're vulnerable. Pretty much every man, I'm 50 years of age now, any man who's been there, done that will tell you, yeah, but there's a point where it goes from, oh, that's sweet, I like that he's opening up to me, to, ooh, yuck, this makes me scared. What is
Right.
this? I don't feel safe with him. If he's breaking down, then I can't break down. And then we have this circle of nobody can feel safe with each other. So it's this delicate balancing act, is how I often refer to it. There's a famous author or psychotherapist, Esther Perel, who famously said something effective. One of the deepest fears of women in relationships is that deep down inside, our man is actually a scared little boy, which means I got to take on the motherly role, and I got to be there for him, be the shoulder to cry on and everything else. And that makes me feel not very safe. And I hate to say that as a woman, she says, but it's true. So there's that balancing act of, yeah, I got to show this woman that I feel safe opening up to her and being vulnerable and being truthful to her and telling her what's on my mind, especially if it's detrimental to us. I don't like it when you do that, wife. I don't like that you said that, wife. That was very, a lot of men don't do that because they don't want to rock the boat. If you're strong enough to do that, great, but understand she may not respond in a very good way. Your wife may be an a-hole when it comes to feelings and so forth. Some of us realize that after being with them for years. My wife's kind of a jerk. she's not she's not the nicest person in the world. And
Right.
it took me so many years of therapy and group work and everything to realize like she's very detrimental to my mental health. Some guys get to that point. Well, some guys say, this poor wife of mine, I've been putting her through hell. I've put everything on her shoulders. God bless her for sticking in there with me because she's been through everything with me and she's been strong through all that. I owe her a lot. Some guys get to that point. So delicate balancing act to figure out where you're at in that.
I absolutely love that, man. Thank you for sharing all dropping that knowledge for everybody, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, one of the things that we do on this podcast, we do a little rapid fire questions, get to know
Oh
the
boy.
founder a little bit. Are you up? Are you up for it?
Let's do it.
All right, man. I know you've wrote some books, but what books are you reading right now?
Am I reading anything right now is the question. I have some nonfiction books. Well, here's a one that I just recently finished up was called, oh, you put me on the spot with the title.
Rapid fire, buddy.
Is it Buy Back Your Time?
Yes, Dan
Yes.
Martell. Love that
Yeah,
book.
that's a good one. I like that one. Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Do you have a bucket list travel spot you still want to go to?
Egypt. Although I hear it's really annoying to go there and be accosted by people and everything else. That's been a dream of mine as a kid. Ancient Egypt, I'm all into that.
Very cool. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Probably more early bird.
There you go. I like it. Do you have a favorite cheat meal?
Pizza.
I love it, man. Very good. If you could have a superpower like the Avengers or the X-Men, what type of superpower would you want to have?
Flying for sure.
Awesome, man. Very cool. If you could have dinner with a historical figure, either living or deceased, who would it be?
Wow. Historical figure. Come on, Ralph. Think, 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 think. There's so many. I don't know, man. So many questions. I'm not a religious person, but if you could sit down with the old Jesus of Nazareth, that'd be kind of interesting. Yeah.
It would be. Very cool, man. Let's see. Do you have like one piece of like whether it's tech or just one productivity hack that you have to use during the day, whether it's your cell phone or anything like that?
Don't be afraid to raise your hand. This is general. Maybe it sounds like a
Yeah.
cop out, but don't be afraid to raise your hand and say help. So you put everything in on paper what it is you do day to day, and if you can take this chunk and hand it over to this guy to do, even if he does 80% as good as you do, it's still worth the few bucks that it takes for him to do it and take it off your plate and allow you to do other things like making money.
Love it, man. Very cool. Last question for you. Actually, I got two left. What was your first job?
I was a cook at Long John Silver's at the age of 16.
Yes, man. Frying up those shrimp, baby. I
I
love
had
it.
this. I had the second degree burns on my arm to prove it. Yeah, from the hot oil. Yep.
Last one, man. Thank you for sharing that. That's a great story. Do you what's on your workout playlist?
Metallica, usually some kind of hard rock things. Metallica, Audio Slave, Black Sabbath, that type of thing.
Audio Slave. I love that call. Good job, man. Absolutely, dude. You crushed that rapid fire section. Nice work.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Hey, if you could have like the ability to time travel back and talk to a younger Ralph, what's one piece of advice you give yourself?
You'll be okay, dude. A lot of what you're experiencing is your anxiety, and a lot of it is not based on reality whatsoever. It's all in your head.
I love that, man. Very cool. Hey, how do you help the impact that you're making? Like, how does that leave on whether it's like the industry that you're in or just as a whole with men as a society?
So, what impact am I leaving?
How do you feel that impact? Yeah,
Well, to sound egotistical here or whatever, but I like to think I'm leaving some kind of legacy for developing a system where men can get genuine help with each other and kind of light a spark in men so they can have a moment and make a turn in their life instead of going in the same kind of dysfunctional direction. If I can leave knowing that at this point, I've reached thousands and thousands of men. I mean, I'm so blessed to be able to say that. How many people can say that in their life, that they've done something to help correct someone's life or help them, get help that they otherwise wouldn't get?
I love that, man. That is so cool. I love that you're leaving such a huge impact on so many lives, man. It's super cool. So, where do you see
Appreciate it. Thank
yourself
you.
in absolutely, where do you see yourself in like 5 years?
Continuing to do this and to continue to grow the group and to continue growing our reach and doing more events internationally. Hopefully, we're already talking about maybe doing one next year in Europe and Spain. So we'll see where that leads us.
That's fantastic, man. Well, I'm all about it. I love what you got going on, and I'm very appreciative for you coming on today. If people are interested in it, whether attending your meetups, whether they're online or whether, in person,
Mm-hmm.
how can people get into those groups, man?
Helpformen.com is your source of everything. If you want to join the Brotherhood and get into everything we talked about, you can jump right to the join page at helpformen.com/join or just click on Brotherhood in the menu. You'll see it there on the website.
Ralph, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, man. Thank you for sharing what Help for Men does for everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Once again, Ryan Van Ornum signing off for the Scaling Up Success podcast brought to you by Synergist. Till the next time, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe on all of our YouTube and Spotify channels. Until the next time, stay blessed, everyone. Take care.